China could be facing a food shortage from the pandemic to an ASF outbreak in 2019 and 2020, a locust infestation, a summer of floods in 2020, and an unusually heavy typhoon season has left many people wondering if the country can feed itself. Despite saying everything's okay, Beijing has been scrambling to import record amounts of grains this year. In today's video, we'll take a deeper look at this developing situation. Let's hop into it. It's been a few weeks since we've looked at China's grain and food situation. Let's start off with this Reuters headline from November 27, 2020. Chinese buying spree pressures EU grain market. Here's a few quotes from the article. China's massive appetite for grain is rippling through Europe's markets, fueling sharp price rallies as traders struggle to meet relentless export demand amid dwindling supplies. As local buyers, like livestock feed makers, vie with importers for a shrinking European cereal surplus, prices could continue rising until demand is dampened or next crops are harvested around the world, traders and analysts said. Europe harvested a smaller cereal crop this year, and rival wheat exporter Russia has shipped less than expected, while the EU's main maize supplier Ukraine has grappled with drought. China has really upended the market, a French trader said. Everything is expensive and it's all about exporting rather than importing. Tightening grain supply is not expected to be visible in food prices. Key suppliers like millers have advanced cover. Commodities are diluted by other supply chain costs, and supermarkets compete heavily on food staples. Despite harvesting a quarter less wheat and barley this year, France is set to ship even more of those cereals to China than last season's hefty volumes. Traders said several vessels of French feed barley have been sold for shipment to China in summer of 2021, unusually early sales for the next crop. That sent French barley premiums surging this month. French barley sales to China have also accelerated due to tensions between Beijing and main barley supplier, Australia. And here's another recent article. China food crisis. Pork, corn in short supply as restaurants trim buffets. And here's a few quotes. Chinese President Xi Jinping had made an appeal earlier this year for citizens to clean their plates. The statement kicked off a campaign to conserve food, leading many to believe that China is witnessing a shortage. Months after Xi Jinping's appeal, China has launched a global hunt for grains. Reports say pork prices in China soared 135% in February of this year. Corn could be in short supply also. Reports say this year's corn crop has been ruined by floods, with supplies of eggs, seafood, and green vegetables affected. The Chinese state media denies all claims of a food crisis, but Beijing is reaching out to suppliers. It is on a global hunt for supplies. China's imports of barley, corn, sorghum, and wheat have jumped by more than 83%. There could reportedly be a shortfall of 20 to 30 million tons of grain this season. Beijing could be trying to fill the gap with imports. Buyers have already locked in 17 million tons of corn for 2020-2021. China does waste an awful amount of food. Back in 2015, the Chinese Academy of Sciences estimated that 17 to 18 million tons of food was wasted in China. That should be enough to feed a country about the size of South Korea. China is now the world's largest agricultural importer. It is now banking on the same imports to tackle a looming food situation. The United Nations predicts the world is facing a food situation that hasn't been seen in at least 50 years. China seems to be in the middle of such a situation, and it now could be buying up every grain that is available in the global market. Here's another article courtesy of the South China Morning Post, China Food Security, How It's Going and Why It's Important. Here's a few quotes from the article. Why is China's food security important? China needs to feed its 1.4 billion people, around one-fifth of the world's population. The memory of China's Great Famine that swept the country from 1958 to 1962 is still rooted in the hearts of older generations. Mao's Great Leap Forward, an aggressive agricultural campaign, was supposed to lead China into a communist utopia through rapid industrialization and collectivization. And in a turbulent post-pandemic world, ensuring food security has become an increasingly more crucial political priority for Beijing's new development strategy, which relies more on the domestic market and its consumers to resist external uncertainties. So what impacts China's food security? China possesses around 10% of the world's total arable land, but in terms of per capita, the acreage available for crops was less than half of the global average as of 2006, according to the World Bank. Some of the limited, high quality, and reserve land suitable for farming has also been used for industrial and real estate purposes. The pandemic, an outbreak of ASF in 2019 and 2020, along with the floods that swept China's southern region, and a summer drought in the north in 2020, have all put pressure on China's food security. Unprecedented typhoons hit the northeastern provinces, and a pest outbreak in the southwestern part of the country in 2020 also added to that pressure. Long-term factors affecting China's food security include a shrinking rural labor force, the reduction of available farmland by urban development, as well as a farmland management system that is an obstacle to modern farming and large-scale cultivation. Chinese state purchases of corn in 2019 was 4.7 million tons. In 2020, it nearly doubled to 8.1 million tons. Thank you for watching this video. If you are finding it informative, please consider giving the channel a subscribe. And our last piece of information is a series of interesting tweets. And I think that's a good place to wrap up today's video. I hope that you found it informative, and check back soon for more content.